What's going on, everybody? Today in the Game Chat, we're discussing the top 10 Game Boy Advance games.
Let's do it.
What do we always do? Let's do it.
I don't know. Let's do it. Let's just try.
Alright, guys, today we're talking about the Game Boy Advance and all the greatest Game Boy Advance games that we could find,
That we thought was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That we, a lot of the games that's going to be on the Advance. A lot of games that's been on the Super Nintendo console itself. But there's actually some games that's on this list that was strictly made for the Game Boy Advance.
That is true.
Yeah, but some of them, it's that we both played, and it's the Game Boy Advance was what you would call an advanced at the time console, handheld console.
It's in the title.
Anyway, but I think that was right after what Game Boy Pocket, I think. So, but anyway,
I think so too.
Yeah, because I mean, you got the Game Boy Advance, and then it went to the Game Boy Advance SP, and that was the last Game Boy named handheld console from Nintendo, because then they went to the Nintendo DS. So, but yeah, like I said, we just wanted to do a little shout out for the handheld console itself. It was a neat little thing to see at the time, seeing all these new games, these new graphics, seeing that, what was it, 16-bit graphics on this little console, this little bitty old screen.
Yeah.
And being able to play it anywhere. And of course it still had batteries. You still had to have batteries to turn it on.
Not the SP.
Yeah, but yes, not the SP. That was the first console that I've ever had, handheld wise, that could be rechargeable. That was awesome. I'm so glad to see that. So, but we're gonna move on to our top 10 from this little shout out from the console. But we're gonna start off at number 10 with Final Fight 1. Like we mentioned before, this is one of the games that was actually on the Super Nintendo. This one here, I don't think it made it to the United States. I think it was just released in Japan. But Final Fight itself, was a beat 'em up scroller.
It was a scroll fighting game. It's Final Fight, but pocket Final Fight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you had it in your pocket, and you could, like I said, you could pretty much play it anywhere you wanted to. And it was just, you had the big guy with the green overalls, but yeah, it was a pretty good one. It reminded me a lot of Double Dragon. So, which to me will always be the king of the scroller beat 'em up. So, but we're gonna move on to number 9.
Number 9 is Drill Dozer, and Drill Dozer was super awesome. I enjoyed playing this one because I played the mess out of it. And basically, you're a robot girl, but you're a drill, and you're running around drilling stuff. No, I'm just. But no, basically, you had to save the world, and you have to collect these gears, and each gear gave you a certain power up, and like you could reverse, and it was a very fun game. It was big in Japan, but they called it Screwball over there. So, but it was still a fun game. My mom played it a lot, and I had to help play it. So, I mean, I played it a lot. It was just a lot of fun for a Game Boy game.
I mean, I've seen videos, clips on it, and it looked like it'd be pretty good. Like I said, I've never played it myself, but
he will one day.
Hopefully, one day I will be able to experience, this game. So maybe.
No.
But moving on to number 8, which is Mario Pinball Land. This one here is pretty much self-explanatory in the title.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you're playing pinball in the Mario world.
Universe.
universe.
Which I've played it, and I mean, it's just Mario playing pinball, but I mean, you go to different levels as the pinball, so you have to like hit the ball into the next level, and if you don't hit it right, you don't get to go to the next level. So you got to just sit back and hit the ball everywhere, aim for the tunnels, and it's
so
just,
pretty much,
it's Mario, but rolling around instead of walking.
Right, and running and jumping and all that
good stuff. Running and jumping.
So that's what I'm saying. Instead of running and jumping and everything like that.
All right, well, we're going to move on. We're going to have number 7, one of my mom's favorite games is Spyro 2 Season of the Flame, which you don't need to. Basically, Spyro is self-explanatory. I can't talk, but that's not why you're watching this. But it's self-explanatory. It is Spyro on Game Boy.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. I mean, they still got your certain, the little extras that they put in.
Right, and plus, I mean, it adds, yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I personally never played Spyro myself, but I know it probably added to the story of the Spyro universe.
They did.
Like a lot of your games, that you see. I'm like I said, I may have, I've never played it, but I have seen videos and clips on it. And like I said, it does, it does look like a fun game, so. But we're going to be moving on to number 6, which is a classic itself. Number 6 is Donkey Kong Country.
Advanced.
I'm surprised they didn't put Advanced on it, to be honest with you. But that's what it is. I mean, it's Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy Advance. And like I said, this is another video game port from the console to the handheld. And I mean, it's just the graphics are the same, the gameplay is the same, and if I remember correctly, the story itself is the same. It's just ported over to the Game Boy Advance itself. But with it being your Donkey Kong title, it was, to me, I loved it. Me and my dad and my brother, we played hours on top of hours on this game. And I mean, even when I saw that they were releasing it and porting it over to the handheld, I had to get it, so I did. And I played and I did the same thing I did before. I beat it,
He held it in his hand?
Yes, I held it in this hand right here. So, but we're going to move on to number 5, which is Harvest Moon.
This one I haven't really met. I mean, I've heard of it on the 64.
To me, that was the best one out of all of them. Because me and my brother, we had it on the 64 itself, but which the 64 was his, the PlayStation was mine, but we, of course, we're brothers, we were sharing, we shared each other's consoles.
They fought, and that's what that means. We fought over it.
But Harvest Moon, is pretty much where you get your grandfather's farm. Where he passed away, you inherited it, and you come from the city to live on this farm. And
this is before Facebook, so there's no farm town.
This is before Farmville, okay? And you got to clean up from the debris, the sticks, the tall grass, the rocks, the balls, stuff like that. And you start growing stuff, and then you got to go to town and buy your supplies, your shovels, your axe, the stuff like that you need to, the tools that you need to work on this farm. Then, and once you get your farm going and you get further away, you can actually romance an NPC. And the people that doesn't know what NPC is, which I hope to God you do, because it's
nowadays
it's non-player character. So okay, but I just wanted to shoot that out there. But you can go and romance a NPC and marry her and actually have a child with this NPC. Then she'll come move into your house there on the farm. She'll help you on the farm. The baby even grows into a kid, and he'll help you, or she will help you onto the farm, on the farm, watering stuff and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I really fell in love with this game with Harvest Moon 64. But like I said, I saw it on
Farming Simulator.
That's pretty much what it is. It's pretty much a farming simulator,
If you're a cartoon.
Yeah, but it's pretty much dealing, it's in a cartoon-ish way. But like I said, I saw it on the Game Boy Advance, and I got it and loved it. It was pretty much the same thing as Harvest Moon 64. So, but we're gonna move on to number 4,
which is Kirby Advance.
Yeah.
Everything's advanced.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of Kirby's up there.
Exactly. It was almost like this system was made for Kirby.
Actually, to be honest with you, Kirby, I think it started on Game Boy.
It started on the actual Game Boy, and then it went to Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. Right.
But it's Kirby. He sucks in enemies, takes their powers, does all kinds of cool stuff, which is always awesome. You got to enjoy that.
Oh yeah.
Because the fire, and then what is it, the freeze one?
You got the freeze one, and then you got the one where you become the knight.
Yep.
Then there's one. There's so many
powers.
There's so many powers you can absorb with Kirby, and it just it changes the gameplay each time you go through and play. If you change up what you did the last time. Yeah. So, but I mean,
buy a new game.
But Kirby, Kirby had to be on the list because some fact is, like I said, Kirby. It started on the Game Boy, and I will believe that's what got the Game Boy going. Other than of course maybe Pokemon.
Yeah. We haven't done a regular Game Boy list, but we probably
we'll get to it. Hopefully.
Tetris was the.
Yeah, I think
that's
Tetris
what
was.
Put Game Boy on.
Yeah, Tetris was. I think was like a release title
for it
as well.
Know is Tetris. No.
Yeah.
No. Well.
Yeah.
They did make some futuristic more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're going to move on. You know Kirby. Let's move on.
Oh yeah. Everybody knows Kirby. So we're going to go to number 3 with Golden Sun. This is an RPG.
I like Silver Moon better. No.
Yeah. Okay. Golden Sun was a game that one of the first games I got on an Advance, and it was pretty long, and I never beat it, but because it was so long, and oh yeah, that's awesome. If you got I love games like that. It's got plenty of content, tons and tons of content to do,
Did it tell you a story?
Yeah, it told me a story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's been so long since I played the game that I really can't remember, what it's about. Yeah, but I do remember, the graphics was, more of like a 3D, kind of, thing. The fight scenes was like a 3D, scene, and it was an overhead, view of when you were out on the world, the open world.
I got you.
Yeah, so, but yeah, Golden Sun was a good game, and like I said, I loved it. It was a good game to play. So, but yeah, we're going to move on from this one. So we ain't rambling. We're going to go to number 2, which is one of my personal favorites, which will always be one of my personal favorites, which is Metroid Fusion. Okay, this game here continues the story from Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo, which if y'all go back to our Super Nintendo top 10, it'll be, Super Metroid would be up there. And like I said, it was one of my first games that I beat, and it just was awesome, and it's close to my heart. And like I said, it just continues on the story from Super Metroid. And what it is the remains of the baby Metroid, she takes it to these scientists, and there's something happens with the scientists. It's been a while, so give me don't.
She created Solid Snake.
Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you. And that was really loud. But anyway, it's where she fuses with the DNA of the Metroid, and it helps her absorb all these powers and life from the monsters of the enemies of this planet that she has to go to and fight.
Does she have to do the dance too?
No dancing. There's no dancing. So, But it's, it like I said, it's a game that's, like I said, continues on from Super Metroid. It's the direct sequel to it, and I played it and beat it many times. It was a really good game. They did really good with it. So.
Well, moving on, and before we get to number one, I have some honorable mentions.
Go for it.
Our first honorable mention is Sonic Advanced, which is basically Sonic, but with some extra levels, some extra things, before Sonic Mania and all that. So it's Sonic. They made 2 of them for the Game Boy Advance. They were awesome. Let's see, my second honorable mention will have to be Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Underground. Let's just do Tony Hawk's Underground. I played it a lot. Mom loved it. We always played skateboarding games and stuff like that. But, it was actually pretty fun. If you enjoy skateboarding and want it in your pocket, there you go. Game Boy Advance Tony Hawk. Which he made so much money anyway off all these games.
Yeah. And I mean, these games here, I never really played. I played it on the PlayStation, except for the Sonic. Of course, I played it on the Sega, but
yeah. Now, you got to have one. Is there one honorable mention you have?
Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem.
There you go, Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem, which I mean, like I said, it's another game like your Mario's. It's a game that releases pretty much on every single console for Nintendo, and it's like a tactical.
It's a mainstay.
Right. It's an exclusive. Sorry. The game for the Nintendo, and it's a tactical battle game. And of course, another reason why I like it is because it tells me a story.
Someone just reading the book.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was. It's a good mainstay game, exclusive game for Nintendo, and just to see it on Game Boy Advance was awesome. That you can have it right there in your pocket, pull it out your pocket, and play it anywhere you want, anytime. Yeah. So. But yeah, that, like I said, Fire Emblem is the way to go for the honorable mention there. So,
okay, well, it looks like it's time to move on to the number one game.
Number one
game is
Dragon Ball Z: Legacy of Goku.
Oh,
yeah.
I think Dragon Ball Z: The Legacy of Goku is a game I've never played.
I'm really surprised. As big as both of me and you are on Dragon Ball.
Okay, I did.
Yeah, but I have played The Legacy of Goku, and what it is, it's more like a.
I've seen it.
How can I say it? Legend of Zelda. You can compare you can compare it to Legend of Zelda, but with Dragon Ball Z elements. You got to be, shoot your Kai Blast, do the Kamehameha.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it play.
Yeah, I think you were able to fly at some point, like close to the end of the game. You had all your major bosses, enemy villains, Cell, Frieza, Rad, all them,
This is before the Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, oh yes. Because they even made a sequel to this game, which is of course Dragon Ball Z: Legacy of Goku 2, and I think you play as Gohan in this one.
It's not the Legacy of Goku.
That's the title of the game. But like I said, I think you play as Gohan. But yeah, I played it. Never beat it, but like I said, I played it and really enjoyed it. Like I said, you had your Kai Blast. You did your karate moves and all that stuff that Goku does, and then of course his special move is the Kamehameha, and right there, like I said, right there at the end, which I think is the final boss, is Frieza, and you of course become a Super Saiyan, so, but yeah, Dragon Ball Z, Legacy of Goku to me, like I said, was a lot like Zelda, with the top down. Kind of angled, and you just go around fighting your enemies and whatnot. Like I said, just using the Dragon Ball.
View,
yeah,
right?
pretty much.
Like Zelda, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know,
Like you said, like Zelda.
yeah, you know, and you just sit there and you go around, you know, solving puzzles and stuff like that, and fighting your enemies with the Kai Blast. You're fighting, you know, your fists, you know, another Kamehameha, and of course you had your health meter, and of course you had your key meter, and of course, you know, the key meter went down every time you did you know, key blast or something, you know, and then Kamehameha would completely drain it.
Ah.
And of course, you know, you had to give it, you know, it would refill itself automatically, but, you know, it took time.
It reminds me of the Japanese version of the Super Nintendo game that they did, but it was Japanese and plus,
yeah.
I played it on an emulator, and basically it was an RPG though. So
yeah. So, and then I mean, this is pretty much an RPG too, but it's what they, you know, what you would call an action RPG, like Zelda, you know, an action RPG.
Well, we'll get into that another day.
Yeah.
How Zelda being a nana, you could just straight up attack. You didn't have to wait and pick an attack.
Well, that's what an action RPG is.
Let me tell you something.
Tell me something.
This is yes. I'll tell you that this has been our top 10 videos
for the Game Boy Advance, y'all.
That's right.
And we'd like to thank y'all for stopping by and, you know, checking us out.
That's right. Well, you know, I mean, this is just our list.
All right, exactly. This is just the Game Shack's, you know, list of what we think and what we know of what games we enjoyed on the console itself, the handheld console. And once again, you know, let us know down in the comments.
Down there.
You know,
that comment
exactly.
area.
And let us know what your top one Game Boy Advance game is that you really enjoyed, that's close to you, and what brings you the most memories for the system.
That's right.
Tell
us all about it. Make sure you hit the notification bell, the like button, the subscribe button.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You got to hit that subscribe button first, and then hit the bell notification.
I don't care which way you do it personally.
So you can get notified when we upload new videos, and we upload every Tuesday. And like I said in the last video, we're discussing every Thursday as well. And we're going to start getting different videos other than top 10s, because we don't want to be considered a top 10 video channel. You know, not that we don't mind doing them. If y'all love doing, you know, seeing the top 10s, we'll continue doing them, and we will continue doing them until we run out of ideas. But we will do more if that's what y'all like. But like I said, we upload every Tuesday, and you know, like we're discussing, you know, maybe on Thursdays, you know, doing like react videos and reaction videos, you know, stuff like that on like movies, games, stuff like that, new releases, stuff like that. So, like we said, hit that subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification so you can get notified when we upload new videos.
That's right.
So, and hit them comments. Let us know what you want to know.
Tell us all about it.
And tell us all about what you want to see.
Tell him a story.
Tell me a story. That's right. Tell me a story.
Tell me a story.
So, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and end this, guys. So, as always,
stay positive.
Stay humble.
Later on.
Peace.